You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Feel like who art Ed?
Try to slice it.
Who art is Mr. Wood, art Ed me?
Good. Either way, it's ambiguous. It works on so many levels.
I know.
That's off to a great start.
Welcome to Who Arted, weekly art history for all ages. I'm your host, Kyle Wood, and today we're doing a TLDR short form episode on Gerhard Richter. Now, for the short version of his bio. Gerhard Richter was born in Dresden, Germany on February 9th, 1932. His childhood and early adulthood were shaped by the immense political turmoil of Germany in the 20th century. He grew up under the Nazi regime and later lived under the communist government of East Germany, also known as the German Democratic Republic. He received his early artistic training at the Dresden Academy of Fine Arts, where the required style was socialist realism, an art form meant to glorify communist values. Richter found this style deeply restrictive and creatively unfulfilling. His life took a dramatic turn in 1961, just months before the Berlin Wall was erected, when he escaped from the East to West Germany. Once in the West, he enrolled at the renowned Kunstakademie Dusseldorf, a hub of avant-garde art. As an interesting counterpoint to his earlier brush with socialist realism, he co-founded a short-lived movement called capitalist realism, a German response to American pop that satirized the consumer culture of the West. Over the subsequent decades, Richter's career has been defined by a remarkable and deliberate refusal to adhere to a single style. He has produced monumental, colorful abstract paintings, as well as photorealistic portraits based on found images, somber historical paintings, and even designed stained glass. Now for your Fast Five, just 5 quick things to know about Gerhard Richter. Number 1, Richter systematically numbers every single one of his artworks. From his earliest accepted pieces to his most recent creations, Richter has maintained a meticulous cataloging system. Each work is assigned a unique number in his catalogue raisonné, which is a comprehensive annotated listing of all his known works. This practice began in 1962 and serves as a crucial tool for understanding the chronology and scope of his incredibly diverse output. The numbering system treats all his works with equal importance regardless of style, size, or subject matter. And this act of cataloging is more than just good record keeping. It's a conceptual part of his art. By assigning a number, Richter emphasizes the work's status as a part of a larger, ongoing investigation rather than a standalone masterpiece. It creates a sense of scientific objectivity, distancing the artist from the emotional content of the piece and reinforcing his career-long exploration of how images are made, seen, and understood. Number 2. He's famous for using a giant squeegee to create his abstract paintings. While he uses traditional brushes for his photorealistic works, Richter's most famous abstract paintings are made with a large, custom-made squeegee, which he drags across wet layers of oil paint on the canvas. This process is both controlled and unpredictable, allowing for a significant element of chance to enter the work. Richter applies multiple layers of different colored paints and then systematically scrapes, smears, and pulls the squeegee across the surface. This action blends the colors in some areas while revealing the layers underneath in others, creating complex textures, veils of color, and surprising juxtapositions. The technique removes the artist's hand in the traditional sense. You don't see individual brushstrokes. It's a perfect visual metaphor for his interest in the blurring of information and the creation and destruction of images. Number 3. Richter destroyed most of the art he made before escaping East Germany. Shortly after he successfully fled to West Germany in 1961, Gerhard Richter returned to his old studio in Dresden under a false pretext and burned the majority of his early works. He saw this act as a necessary break from his past, both personally and artistically. The work he had created under the GDR's state-controlled system was tied to the ideology of socialist realism, a style he felt was inauthentic and propagandistic. By destroying these early pieces, Richter was performing a radical act of self-reinvention. He wanted to start over with a clean slate, free from the ideological baggage of his past. And this fire marked a definitive end to his formative years and a beginning to his mature work. Number 4. He designed a stained glass window for the Cologne Cathedral using 11,500 colored squares. In 2007, a massive new stained glass window designed by Gerhard Richter was unveiled in the south transept in the Cologne Cathedral, one of Germany's most important Gothic landmarks. The original window had been destroyed during World War II. Instead of creating a figurative biblical scene, as would have been traditional, Richter created a stunning modern design composed of 11,500 small squares of glass in 72 different colors. The arrangement of these colored pixels was determined by a computer program using a random number generator. The colors themselves were derived from the palette of the cathedral's original 19th century windows, creating a link between the historical and contemporary. The result is a vibrant, abstract carpet of color that shimmers and changes with the light. While initially controversial for its lack of overt religious imagery, the window has become a beloved feature, celebrated for its unique fusion of medieval craft, modern technology, and abstract art. And our fifth and final fact for today, many of Richter's most famous photo paintings are based on personal family photos. While Richter often used anonymous images from newspapers and magazines, some of his most powerful and unsettling works are derived directly from his own family photo albums. These paintings explore the complicated nature of memory, German history, and the way photographs both reveal and conceal the truth. For example, his paintings of his uncle Rudi show a smiling young man in a Nazi uniform. By taking these deeply personal and often traumatic family snapshots and transforming them into his signature blurred paintings, Richter universalizes them. The blur acts as a visual metaphor for the haze of memory, the passage of time, and the difficulty of truly knowing the past. It forces the viewer to confront the uncomfortable reality that private family histories are often intertwined with larger, darker historical narratives. Now, let's take a moment to take a closer look at one of Gerhard Richter's most iconic and enigmatic paintings, Betty, from 1988. Betty is an oil-on-canvas painting measuring about 40 by 28 inches, or 102 by 72 centimeters. It's a photorealistic portrait that depicts a young woman seen from behind, sitting on the floor and turning her head away from the viewer. She's wearing a striking floral patterned robe or dressing gown. The subject of the painting is none other than Richter's own daughter, Betty, who was 11 years old at the time. The painting is based on a photograph that Richter himself took of her. What makes this painting so captivating is the tension it creates between intimacy and distance. We're looking at a portrait of the artist's child, a subject that's inherently personal. And yet, we're denied the most crucial element of the traditional portrait, the subject's face. Betty is turned away, her expression and identity hidden from us. Her posture is a twist, a dynamic spiral that leads our eye around her form, from her brown hair pulled back loosely to the cascading red, pink, and white floral patterns in the robe. The background is a flat, neutral, monochrome gray, which pushes her figure forward and isolates her in the space. This technique is quintessential Richter. He's meticulously rendered the image from the photograph with incredible realism, but then subtly dragged a dry brush across parts of the still wet paint. This creates a soft, out-of-focus blur, particularly around her shoulders and the contour of her head. The blurring mimics the slightly imperfect focus of a snapshot photograph, reinforcing the work's source, but more importantly, it creates a sense of fleetingness, as if we've caught a glimpse of a moment that's already dissolving into memory. The blur distances us emotionally, preventing the image from becoming purely sentimental. Ultimately, Betty is a profound meditation on the limits of representation. Richter shows us that even with the technical perfection of a realistic painting and the supposed truth of a photograph, we can never really capture or know another person. Her turning away is a gesture of refusal, a refusal to be pinned down, defined, or possessed by the viewer's gaze, or even by her father's. The painting is both a loving portrait and a sophisticated commentary on the nature of art itself. It asks us what a portrait is meant to do and suggests that sometimes what's concealed is just as powerful as what's revealed.
This concludes this week's episode of Who Arted, part of the Airwave Media Podcast Network. If you found this tolerable, please leave a rating or review on your favorite podcast app. You can find images of the work being discussed this week and every week on social media at Who Arted Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and of course on the website whoartedpodcast.com. Podcast done.